This video is about Aphrodite heals heroes, but curse spell strikes. If this myth excites you, please like the video, share it with friends, and write in the comments how it pulled you into the adventure. Part 1, Aphrodite heals heroes, but curse spell strikes. In a realm where the sun kissed the earth with golden rays and twilight turned the sky into a canvas of crimson and violet, the world of Eldoria thrived. Here, the gods walked among mortals, their whims weaving the fabric of fate. Yet, amidst the beauty and harmony, shadows loomed, whispers of betrayal echoed through the high halls of Olympus. Aphrodite, the goddess of love and beauty, watched over her chosen heroes from the shimmering heights of her temple. Encircled by the sweet scent of blooming roses, she felt the weight of their struggles, the scars of war etched upon their souls. It was her divine gift to heal, to mend the broken hearts and shattered bodies of those who dared to follow the path of honor. But even she could not foresee the curse that would soon befall her sanctuary. The air was thick with tension as a meeting of the gods took place on the stormy peak of Mount Olympus. Zeus, king of the gods, cast a steely gaze upon his fellow deities. "The balance of our world hangs by a thread," he proclaimed, his voice rumbling like thunder. "Warriors fall, and darkness stirs in the hearts of men. Our domain must intervene. Yet who among us will bear the burden of healing?" Hades, lord of the underworld, interjected, his eyes glinting with mischief. "Aphrodite's touch is desired, but will it not invite pain in return?" Aphrodite stepped forward, her ethereal beauty glowing even in the storm. "Love is the most powerful force, Hades. It can heal wounds unseen and bind the broken." Her voice, soft yet resolute, filled the chamber. "I shall tend to the fallen, for they deserve a chance at redemption." As the gods debated, a dark figure loomed at the fringe of their gathering. Eris, the goddess of discord, with a heart as twisted as her intentions, listened intently. A cunning smile crept across her face. "Ah, love and healing are such noble pursuits, but what if love were to falter? What if honor led to betrayal?" With a flick of her wrist, she conjured a cursed spell, weaving it into the winds that swirled around Olympus. Unbeknownst to Aphrodite and her allies, the curse seeped through the very fabric of their realm, targeting the heroes she sought to heal. As it embedded itself into their very souls, it transformed their honorable intentions into chaos. Meanwhile, across the plains of Eldoria, Sir Caleb, a valley knight renowned for his bravery, led his companions, the fierce warrior maiden Vesper and the cunning rogue Lysander, toward the Valley of the Fallen. They sought to recover the sacred sword of light, believed to hold the power to vanquish the rising darkness. "Look there," Caleb pointed ahead, where the remnants of a great battle lay scattered of broken shields and the fallen bodies of warriors, both mortal and divine. "We must press on. The sword is close." But as they ventured deeper, the shadows thickened, smothering hope like a blanket of despair. Thespera, scanning the horizon, felt a chill crawl up her spine. "Something is wrong. The air is heavy with grief." Lysander, ever the pragmatist, shrugged. "This battlefield has tasted death. It is no surprise the air is thick. Keep your wits about you, for the dead do not always rest easily." As night descended, a chorus of whispers filled the valley. Shadows danced, and ghostly figures of fallen heroes emerged, drawn by the proximity of the living. "Leave this place," one spirit cried, its voice a haunting echo. "You awaken the curse." Caleb's heart pounded as the specters advanced, their faces twisted in sorrow and rage. "We cannot turn back now," he shouted, drawing his sword, its blade shimmering with the essence of divine light. "We fight for what is right." But the cursed spell birthed a greater evil, summoning from the depths an ancient beast of the chimera, a nightmarish creature born of fire and fury, with the body of a lion, a serpent for a tail, and a goat springing from its back. It roared, fins licking as small as it fixed its fiery gaze on the heroes. "The sword!" Vesper shouted, her voice slicing through the air. "If we can reach it, we can end this." With determination, the trio charged forward, but the chimera lashed out, spewing flames that scorched the earth around them. Caleb raised his shield, deflecting the inferno, but the heat singed his hair and seared his skin. "Stay together," he cried. As they fought bravely, the curse twisted their intentions. Thespera, fueled by fear, struck with reckless abandon, her blade clashing against the beast with a fury that bordered on madness. "We must end this," she screamed, her heart heavy with the weight of her comrades' lives. Lysander, quick and agile, attempted to flank the beast. Yet, with each movement, the shadows whispered treachery into his ear. "What if they fail you?" they hissed. "What if the love you trust is a trap?" For a moment, doubt seeped into his heart. "What if I am not the rogue they think I am?" he thought, struggling against the darkness that threatened to consume him. But then, he remembered the laughter shared around campfires, the bonds forged in battle. His friends were worth the fight. With newfound resolve, he leaped toward the chimera, aiming for its throat. "You'll not take us," he shouted, plunging his dagger deep into the beast. But the curse pulsed through the chimera, enhancing its strength. With a roar, it flung Lysander aside, sending him crashing into the ground. "Lysander!" Thespera cried, her heart breaking. She turned to the chimera, fury igniting her spirit. "You shall not take him from me." As flames danced dangerously close, Caleb rallied. "Together, we must focus our strength," he shouted, his voice a beacon amidst the chaos. They formed a line, their backs against one another, the weight of destiny resting on their shoulders. With synchronized precision, they struck as one. The sword of light glimmered in the darkness, a promise of hope. As Vesper and Caleb distracted the beast, Lysander, wounded but undeterred, scrambled to his feet and lunged for the chimera's heart. "May the gods be with us," he shouted, channeling every ounce of honor and love he held for his friends. He thrust the sword deep, the light piercing through the darkness of the curse. A blinding flash erupted, engulfing the valley in radiant brilliance. But as the chimera fell, its roar transformed into a wail of anguish, and the curse struck with its full force. Laughter echoed around them, dark and foreboding. Eris' voice drifted on the wind, taunting and sinister. "Oh, dear heroes, your victory is but a mirage, the curse has only just begun." The ground trembled beneath their feet, and shadows coiled around them like serpents, whispering lies and despair. The triumphant moment spiraled into chaos as the curse intertwined with their destinies, threatening to unravel everything they fought for. As the dust settled and silence blanketed the valley, Caleb, Vespera, and Lysander felt the weight of their newfound reality. Each bore the burden of the curse, hearts heavy with betrayal and doubt. They stood at the precipice of their fate, the glimmer of hope dimmed, yet a flicker remained within. "Together, we will break this curse," Caleb vowed, his voice steady despite the uncertainty looming ahead. "Our bonds are stronger than any spell." The trio embraced, knowing that their journey had only just begun. With the shadows of doubt looming, they would confront the trials ahead of battles of both body and spirit. Their love and honor would be tested, and the fate of Eldoria hung precariously in the balance. Thus, the legendary tale of Aphrodite as chosen heroes began, ignited by love yet intertwined with tragedy. As the curse unfurled its tendrils, they would rise to face the darkness, each step echoing with the promise of redemption, perseverance, and the unwavering power of companionship. Hashash Part 2: The Curse Unleashed. The valley that had once been a battleground of honor now lay shrouded in darkness, the laughter of Eris echoing like a funeral dirge through the ruins. Caleb, Vespera, and Lysander stood, hearts entwined by their shared burden, the cursed spell gnawing at their resolve. They could feel it, a malevolent force, wrapping around their spirits, sowing seeds of doubt and betrayal. "It cannot end like this," Vespera whispered, her fierce gaze scanning the horizon, where shadows writhed like serpents. "We've faced worse than this." Yet as she spoke, a flicker of uncertainty shadowed her eyes. "But what if we can break the curse? What if we betray each other?" "Enough." Caleb's voice thundered, cutting through the suffocating air. "We will not let despair claim us. We are heroes forged in flame and love. We will face the trials ahead." His sword gleamed, a beacon of hope against the encroaching darkness. Lysander nodded, although doubt lurked in the corners of his mind. "Yeah, but what if Eris has already sown discord among us? We must be vigilant." He met Caleb's fierce glare. "Are you sure we are still united?" Before Caleb could respond, a rumble echoed from the depths of the valley. The very ground shuddered, and from the smoke and shadows, grotesque forms emerged. The cursed spell had awakened the darkest nightmares of Eldoria. A horde of monstrous creatures surged forth with gorgons with venomous gazes, minotaurs wielding axes as heavy as their malice, and the embodiments of fear, the phantoms, whispering the heroes' deepest insecurities. "We have to move," Vespera cried, brandishing her sword, its hilt warm beneath her grip. "We cannot let them divide us." With a fierce battle cry, Caleb charged forward, his blade slicing through the air as he faced the first minotaur. The creature roared, swinging its deadly axe, but Caleb ducked, rolling under its massive arms and driving his sword into the beast's side. Blood sprayed, splattering across the ground, the red stark contrast against the darkness. "Fight for our bonds," he shouted, his voice echoing with determination. Vespera engaged the gorgon, its serpentine hair hissing as it lunged, fangs bared. She sidestepped, her movements fluid and graceful, a dance of defiance against despair. "You will not claim my heart," she yelled, delivering a swift strike that severed the gorgon's head, its body collapsing into a lifeless heap. But the phantoms encircled them, their whispers grating against the heroes' minds. Betrayal is in your hearts, they hiss, voices like the rustling of dry leaves. Your victory was but a fleeting dream, doubt shall be your undoing. Ignore them. Lysander shouted, darting between shadows, his daggers flashing like lightning. He lunged, striking a phantom, yet the creature dissipated only to reappear, mocking him from the shadows. You think you belong here, rogue, you rear coward. With determination, he pressed on, striking at the essence of the phantom. I am no coward, I fight for the love of my friends. He plunged his dagger into another phantom, watching it dissolve into nothingness, but their whispers lingered like a poison in his mind. As the battle raged, the heroes fought valiantly, but the shadows grew thicker, and the curse twisted their intentions further. Vesper felt a surge of fear wash over her. What if we fall? What if I failed to protect you? She yelled, her voice trembling. Fear is a shadow, Caleb replied, parrying a blow from another minotaur. Let it pass like the wind. He struck with fierce resolve, each blow resonating with the strength of their bonds. We shall not fall. Yet as the last of the minotaurs fell, the phantoms multiplied, their whispers intensifying. You think you are bound by love, yet your hearts are fragile, trust will shatter. Suddenly, a howl pierced the air. The chimera, though vanquished, rose anew, its flames flickering like the dying embers of hope. You dare challenge me again? It roared, its fiery breath illuminating the shadows. Together, Caleb commanded, rallying his friends. We can defeat it again, we must believe. But the chimera lunged, claws outstretched, and the trio barely managed to leap aside. In that instant, the curse twisted further, turning them against each other. Vesper felt her heart race, a sudden pang of doubt piercing through her. What if they get hurt because of me? Stay focused. Lysander shouted, his voice piercing through the din. Yet even as he spoke, a part of him questioned what if he was never meant to be part of this heroic saga? What if he was destined to betray them? Enough. Caleb bellowed, his voice like thunder, shaking them from their dark reverie. We are stronger together, remember our promise to each other. With renewed determination, they launched a synchronized attack. Caleb distracted the chimera, drawing its fiery gaze, while Vesper flanked it, her sword glimmering, and Lysander darted in from behind, ready to strike. But the chimera was cunning, its serpent tail lashing out, catching Lysander off guard. He stumbled, falling to the ground, its fiery breath scorching the air around him. Lysander! Vesper cried, her heart clenching. In that moment of vulnerability, the whispers intensified, invading their thoughts. See how easily you fall, your bonds are weak. Death! Caleb roared, charging toward the chimera with wild ferocity. We will not let you divide us. His sword pierced through the beast's shoulder, but the chimera bellowed, flames erupting from its maw, engulfing Caleb in a wave of heat. Vesper, filled with an overwhelming desire to protect her comrades, leaped toward the flames. Caleb, she screamed, her heart pounding as she felt the fire as heat lick her skin. But she was not afraid, her love for them burned brighter than the inferno. With a cry, she pushed through the flames, her sword poised to strike. You will not take him from us. Lysander, fueled by the fire of friendship, scrambled back to his feet, determination igniting in his chest. We fight for each other, we will not fail. He slashed at the chimera's tail, diverting its attention long enough for Vesper to reach Caleb. Are you all right? She gasped, catching her breath as she pulled him back, the flames licking at her heels. Just a scorched sleeve, Caleb replied with a weary smile, but his eyes glimmered with defiance. We can do this, together. With a newfound resolve, they combined their strength, unleashing a torrent of blows upon the chimera. The beast roared, flames erupting around them, but the trio stood strong, their faith in one another shield against the darkness. You are strong, Vesper cried, striking the chimera's flank. Stronger than the shadows that wish to divide us. As they fought, the cursed spell began to unravel. Each blow against the chimera pulsed with the warmth of their love and honor. With one final strike, they plunged the sword of light into the heart of the beast. A blinding light exploded from the point of contact, illuminating the valley and dispelling the shadows. The chimera wailed, its body disintegrating, leaving only a swirl of ash carried away by the wind. Yet the air's laughter echoed once more, a haunting reminder of the struggle that remained. Foolish heroes, you think a single victory will liberate you from the curse? The ground shook beneath them, and the air crackled with tension. From the remnants of the chimera, a shadowy figure emerged, a dark reflection of themselves, twisted by doubt and betrayal. Face your true selves, the figure hissed, its voice a cacophony of their fears. You are not who you claim to be. As the shadowlings lunged toward them, Caleb, Vesper, and Lysander held their ground, hearts racing. We are bound by love, not fear. Caleb shouted defiantly. Vespra stepped forward, her voice steady. We are heroes, forged in battle and bound by honor. We will not falter. With each strike against the dark reflections, the shadows recoiled, the whispers fading. Truth of their bonds illuminated the darkness within, dispelling the lies. Their hearts, stronger together, stood against the curse laid by Eris. The shadowling shattered, dissipating into a flurry of embers and light. As silence returned, the trio turned to one another, breathing heavily but filled with a renewed sense of purpose. We are not just healers or warriors, Lysander uttered, his voice thick with emotion. We are friends, bound by love, honor, and sacrifice. Together, we can break any curse. They embraced. ## Part 3, The Trial of Shadows. In the aftermath of their battle, the valley still thrummed with the remnants of chaos and triumph. Clusters of light flickered like fireflies in the dusk, remnants of the Chimera's destruction. Yet the haunting echoes of Eris's laughter cast a shadow over their victory, a reminder of the trials still ahead. As darkness descended, Calum, Vespra, and Lysander gathered their resolve, hearts still heavy with bonds forged in battle. What now? Vespra asked, her spirit weary yet unyielding. The curse is far from broken. We feel its weight pressing down on us. Lysander, the rogue with a heart of gold, looked toward the horizon where the last traces of sunlight faded. We must seek the Oracle of Valdoria. She knows the ancient ways, the secrets of the curse. Perhaps she can guide us. His eyes flickered with determination, the flickering faith sparking hope. Then we set forth at dawn, Calum declared, his voice steady, embodying the strength of their shared purpose. We cannot let fear dictate our journey. We will face whatever trials await us. As the trio made camp for the night, the wind whispered through the trees, carrying soft, melodic notes that soothed their spirits. Vespra nestled beside the fire, her gaze lost in the flickering flames. Do you think the Oracle will help us? She mused aloud, a hint of vulnerability creeping into her tone. Calum, sitting across from her, studied her face. She is wise beyond measure. If anyone can unravel this curse, it is she. He forced a smile, but the shadows of doubt still loomed in the corners of his mind. We must trust in our bond and the love that unites us. The night wore on, the stars twinkling like distant warriors ready to join the fray. As they drifted into an uneasy slumber, Lysander awoke with a start, a chilling sensation crawling along his skin. Shadows danced around him, whispers curling through the air. Your friends will betray you, they hissed, voices dripping with malice. You are destined to fail. Shut up, he growled, shaking his head as if to dispel the darkness. I will not listen to you. He clenched his fists, a mixture of anger and fear coursing through him. I will fight for them, for us. But the whispers persisted, burrowing deeper into his subconscious. What if you are the reason they fall? Your Curtis will be your undoing. With a rush of adrenaline, Lysander rose to his feet, pacing away from the campfire, where his friends lay sleeping. A sudden surge of doubt ignited within him. What if I truly am unworthy? He whispered to himself. But deep within, a flicker of defiance ignited. I am no coward. I am a hero. As dawn broke, the trio set off toward the Oracle's hidden sanctuary, traversing the rugged terrain of Valdoria. The path went through dense forests, where sunlight barely penetrated, casting eerie shadows on their faces. Each step felt heavy, and the air thick with unspoken worries. Stay vigilant, Calum instructed, his sword drawn and ready, eyes scanning for any hint of danger. Eris's curse may still linger, lurking in the shadows. The forest hummed with an unsettling energy, and as they trekked deeper, the trees twisted unnaturally, their bark gnarled like the faces of long-forgotten warriors. Suddenly, a shrill, echoing laugh pierced the air, the unmistakable voice of Eris. Fools, you tread on cursed ground. Shadows coiled round them, swirling like a tempest. You think you can undo my will? You think friendship can protect you from the truth of your hearts? From the depths of the shadows emerged grotesque figures, dark reflections of the heroes, each embodying their deepest fears and insecurities. The air crackled with tension as the shadowy manifestations lunged forward, towering over them. I will not succumb to you. Vesper shouted, her voice defiant as she brandished her sword. I fight for my friends, for love and honor. Each of the shadowy figures mirrored their true selves, a spectre of doubt for Lysander, reflecting his internal struggle with betrayal, a visage of despair for Calum, casting shadows over his heroic spirit, and a haunting figure for Vespera, embodying her fears of failure. Your victories are but illusioned, the shadows taunted, their voices a chilling chorus. You Dante belong together. With a roar, Calum charged at his dark reflection, the sword gleaming with the power of their bonds. I am forged in honor, you are not me. He swung his blade, striking true, and the shadow evaporated into dark mist. Dante listened to them. Thespra shouted, her resolve unwavering as she fought against her own shadow, a twisted version of herself that laughed mockingly. I am stronger than my fears. I will protect my friends. Lysander, facing his shadow, felt the doubt creep in. You are a coward. You will betray them. The apparition sneered, echoing all the insecurities he harbored. They'll all fall without you. You were meant to fail. That? Lysander shouted, a surge of courage pushing back against the darkness. I am a hero. I fight for love. With each thrust of his daggers, the shadows dimmed, dissolving into nothingness. As the final vestiges of the illusions faded, the forest grew silent, the air clear of doubt. The trio regrouped, panting heavily yet radiant with renewed strength. We face our shadows, Vesper said, her voice trembling with the remnants of their fight. And we stand united. Lysander nodded, wiping sweat from his brow. Together, we are stronger than fear. With their resolve solidified, they pressed on, forging ahead towards the Oracle as sanctuary. The path twisted and turned, leading them to a magnificent grove illuminated by a celestial glow. At its heart stood the Oracle, a figure cloaked in silver mist, her presence radiating wisdom and peace. Welcome, brave warriors of Eldoria, she intoned, her voice melodic yet powerful. You seek to break the curse that plagues your hearts, but to do so, you must confront not only the darkness outside, but the shadows within. Caleb stepped forward, the weight of their journey heavy upon him. We have faced our fears, Oracle. We wish to understand the nature of Eris' curse and how we can break it. The Oracle's eyes shimmered like stars. The curse is a reflection of your bond. It thrives on doubt and betrayal. To truly break it, you must embrace your vulnerabilities, acknowledge the love that binds you, and confront the darkness together. Vesper felt a tingle of realization at the Oracle's words. We must not only fight the curse, but also embrace our fears, our doubts. Indeed, the Oracle replied, her voice echoing with ancient wisdom. Your love and honor are weapons against the darkness, but remember, the greatest battle lies within. At that moment, the ground trembled, and a vortex of shadows began to swirl around them, threatening to consume the grove. Eris knows you are here, the Oracle warned, her gaze unwavering. You must face her, not just as individuals, but as a united front. As the shadows coalesced, Eris emerged, a figure draped in darkness, a laughter, a chilling melody that echoed through the grove. Ah, the brave heroes, you think you can challenge me. Your love is a weakness, not a strength. With a wave of her hand, the shadows surged forward, intent on tearing them apart. You will betray each other, she shrieked, her voice laced with venom. You will fail. Ever. Caleb roared, stepping forward, sword raised high. We fight for each other, for our bond. You cannot tear us apart. The trio joined hands, their hearts beating as one, a radiant light emanating from their unity. Together! Vesper shouted, summoning all the strength they had forged. We are bound by love, honor, and sacrifice. The shadows shrieked and writhed, but the light from their bond grew brighter, pushing back against the darkness. We will not fall. Lysander echoed, determination coursing through him like wildfire. We are heroes, not just for ourselves, but for each other. With a final surge of energy, they unleashed the power of their connection, a blinding wave of light that clashed against Eris' darkness. The shadows recoiled, and a cacophony of shrieks filled the air as the curse began to shatter, splintering like glass. Eris howled in fury, her visage cracking as their light consumed her. This is not the end, your bonds will be your undoing. And with that, she dissolved into the ether, her laughter fading into silence. As the darkness lifted, the grove stood bathed in light, a sanctuary reborn. The Oracle smiled, her presence a calming balm. You have faced the darkness and emerged victorious. The curse is broken, not just by strength, but by the love that binds you. Tears of relief filled Lysander's eyes as he embraced his friends. # Part 4, The Divine Reckoning. With the shadows of Eris dissolved into the ether, the grove pulsed with renewed energy. The trio stood together, hearts pounding in rhythm, the warmth of victory igniting their spirits. The Oracle, radiant against the burgeoning dawn, regarded them with a knowing smile. You have broken the curse that threatened your spirits and your bonds, yet greater trials await. Lysander, still catching his breath, felt a deep-seated dread creep into his heart. What more could possibly come? We've faced monsters, shadows, and even the goddess of discord herself. Caleb stepped forward, sword still gleaming in the soft light. Whatever it is, we will face it together. We have already defied the odds. Vesper clenched her jaw, her fierce spirit undimmed as she stared into the Oracle's eyes. To tell us what we must do, we will not falter. The Oracle nodded, her voice imbued with celestial wisdom as she spoke. The balance of Edoria is at stake. What you faced was merely the prelude to a greater storm. The gods themselves, fearing the rising darkness, will test your resolve. You must journey to the Temple of Fates. Fates? Lysander echoed, his brow furrowing. But the Fates are known to spin destinies that are unyielding. How do we alter a fate that is already written? By embracing yours, the oracle replied, her gaze penetrating. You are not bound by destiny, but can shape it through your choices. The temple will grant you the power to confront not only the gods, but your own destinies. With a flick of her wrist, the oracle conjured a shimmering portal, the swirling colors inviting yet ominous. Step forth, brave hearts, your journey to the temple awaits. Without hesitation, Calum took a step forward, pulling Vesper and Lysander along with him. Together, they entered the portal, the world around them transforming into a whirlwind of light and shadow. The Temple of Fates materialized before them, an edifice carved from the very essence of time. Ancient stones, inscribed with sacred runes, gleamed under the light of twin moons. The air crackled with magic, thick with the weight of countless destinies intertwined. As they stepped into the temple, a chill swept through the air, and the Fates, 3 figures cloaked in shadows, emerged from behind an ethereal veil. Their voices intertwined, harmonious yet dissonant. Mortals, you seek to change that which is immutable. Vesper stepped forward, her sword held firmly in hand. We do. We face Eris, and we will not let fear dictate our destinies. Bold words, the eldest Fate exclaimed, her eyes glowing like burning stars. Yet, boldness does not grant you strength. What will you sacrifice to alter your fates? We will not sacrifice anything meaningful, Calum declared, his voice unwavering. We fight for our honor, for our love, and for our very existence. The second Fate, with eyes like deep abysses, chuckled darkly. Love, you say, how fragile it is when faced with the weight of sacrifice. Are you willing to bear the burden of pain that comes with it? Pain is part of the journey, Lysander replied, his brow furrowing. But without love, what do we have? We cannot lose hope. As the Fates studied the trio, the air thickened with tension. The youngest Fate, her features obscured by shadow, whispered, very well, then you will face the trials of the 3 realms, succeed, and you will gain the power to shape your destinies, fail, and the darkness will consume you. With a wave of their hands, the Fates sent the heroes spiraling through dimensions, each realm more treacherous than the last. Hash, the realm of shadows. They landed in the realm of shadows, a land cloaked in eternal twilight, where the air was thick with despair. Eerie wails echoed through the fog, the shadows twisting like lost souls. Stay close, Calum urged, unsheathing his sword, its glow dimming in the oppressive darkness. We must keep our wits about us. Suddenly, ghostly figures emerged from the shadows, each one a wraith of torment and grief, their hollow eyes locked onto the heroes. You cannot escape the shadows of your past, they moan, their voices a haunting melody. Vesper gripped her sword tightly. We've faced our shadows before, we want to fault now. With a fierce battle cry, she charged into the fray, slicing through the wraiths with determination. Each strike dispelled the darkness momentarily, but more emerged to take their place. Lysander, fighting alongside her, dodged the ethereal forms that threatened to engulf him. Remember our bond, if he shouted, his voice ringing with conviction. We are stronger together. As they fought, the wraiths whispered their fears. You will betray each other, your love will turn to ashes. But the trio stood resolute, recalling the bonds that had brought them this far. Mouth! Vesper screamed, her heart ablaze with determination. We fight for each other. Together, they unleashed a powerful surge of energy, channeling their love and honor. The wraiths shrieked in despair as the light engulfed them, scattering the shadows and revealing a path forward. Hash, the realm of trials. They emerged into the realm of trials, a domain filled with obstacles that tested their physical and emotional stamina. Rivers of molten lava flowed alongside towering cliffs, each step demanding precision and courage. We must cross the chasm, Calum shouted, pointing to a rickety bridge that spanned the fiery abyss. Before they could take a step, a colossal figure emerged from the shadows, the guardian of trials. To cross, you must face yourselves once more, he boomed, his voice echoing like thunder. What you dread will confront you here. Enough of this? Vesper shouted defiantly. We've effaced our shadows. Not yet, the guardian rumbled. Each of you must confront your greatest fear. As the guardian raised his massive hand, dark tendrils enveloped each hero, drawing them into their own nightmarish visions. Lysander found himself alone in a void, surrounded by the faces of his friends, twisted in betrayal and despair. He never trusted me, they echoed, their voices a cacophony of doubt. You are a coward. No, he shouted, clenching his fists. I am a hero, I fight for love. With every ounce of strength, he pushed against the darkness, the voices fading as he embraced his truth. Meanwhile, Caleb stood under the weight of expectations, visions of failure gripping him. "You will fall in battle," whispered the shadows, taunting him with visions of defeat. "You cannot protect them." "Not if I can help it." Caleb roared, his sword igniting with a fierce glow. "I will protect my friends. I refuse to live in fear." With a powerful strike, he dispelled the shadowy figures, breaking free from the torment. Thespera found herself in a dark forest, visions of her beloved comrades falling before her eyes. "You will fail them," the whispers hissed, drowning out her resolve. "No," she shouted, tears streaming down her face. "I fight for honor. I fight for love." With a surge of strength, she shattered the illusion, the dark forest dissolving into light. As they emerged from their trials, the Guardian nodded, impressed by their resilience. "You have shown strength in facing your fears. You may pass." Hash, the realm of redemption. The portal to the final realm opened, leading them into the realm of redemption, a landscape bathed in golden light, yet shadows lurked at its edges. Before them stood a massive throne, and upon it sat a figure shrouded in radiant light, the god of redemption. "Welcome, brave mortals," the deity intoned, his voice reverberating like the rolling seas. "You have proven yourselves worthy of redemption, yet you must confront the cost of your choices." "What must we do?" Caleb asked, his heart pounding. The god smiled, but his gaze was piercing. "To alter your fate, you must offer what is dearest to you. Love, honor, heart, sacrifice is the key to true power." Thespera spoke up, her voice unwavering. "We will not back down. We will sacrifice for our love and our bond." Suddenly, the shadows coiled around them, threatening to consume their resolve. "Your sacrifice will cost you everything," they whispered, their voices echoing with malice. But the trio stood firm, hearts beating as one. "We will not falter," Lysander shouted, his voice ringing with defiance. "We will face whatever price we must pay." The god of redemption raised his hand, and the shadows dispersed, revealing a shimmering orb with their potential. "What will you sacrifice for the chance to change your fate, to write a new destiny?" Together, Caleb said, his voice steady. "We will give our bond, our memories, our shared love. It is worth more than anything else." As they reached for the orb, their memories swirled around them, bright and vivid, laughter shared, battles fought, the